Hey everyone, it's Rebecca the dietitian, and today I am coming to you from one of the rooms in my house. And it may seem not relevant to food, but I'm going to bring it back. And what I wanted to tell you I'm doing to share with you today is a little bit embarrassing, actually. I'm sure you've probably heard of Marie Kondo and the life-changing magic of tidying up. Well, I've joined the bandwagon. I've read her book. I think it's amazing. It's a really interesting perspective on decluttering. I actually am a pretty organized person. I like to get rid of things. I don't keep things. I say that, but I'm about to share with you something a little bit horrifying. Well, I am actually trying to declutter my home, and I'm being coachable because her method makes sense to me. That if you see everything you own in one heap and pile, it can be overwhelming, and you realize how ridiculous it is that you own so much stuff. And then the perspective that you get to choose what you want to keep. And I've always decluttered thinking of the perspective of what do I want to get rid of. And so I'm really being open to the process that seeing all of the stuff that I own in one spot, in one giant heap, is going to make a difference. And she says that none of her people go back to doing things the way they used to do them after this. So I'm being coachable, and I now have put every piece, she says to start with clothing. I have put every piece of clothing that I own, every piece from everywhere in the house. The rule is if you didn't put it in the pile and you find it later, it goes in the discard pile. So everything I own is here on my guest bed. And are you ready to see this? It's pretty embarrassing. It's like the amount of clothing that I've seen in other people's videos that probably the whole family had, but here it is. This is the bed. And this is a full-size bed, and this is my clothes, which is a lot. So I'm about to go through them with the perspective of looking at what I want to keep, what brings me joy. And that's such a cool way to look at this, is thinking of when you're tidying your house or getting rid of things, and you can do this in your kitchen as well. That's one of the later steps, is go through and think about what brings you joy. And I'm gonna show you a little bit of me going through this, and then we're gonna tie it back to how it relates to food. Wish me luck. So if any of you are interested in trying this, I highly recommend reading the book. It just puts it into a perspective that I could never offer you in this short video. But one of the things that I really connect with is that you look at each piece and you touch it, because things have energy, and that's just a scientific fact. So you touch the piece, it's important to touch it, and consider whether or not it brings you joy. If it does bring you joy, like you feel, oh, yay, then you keep it. And if you pick it up and it doesn't bring you joy, you kind of feel neutral or meh about it, then you don't just chuck it, you thank it for its service. So you acknowledge it, thank you for whatever you did for me. If it was a gift, you thank, and you never wore it, you thank it for making you feel special, that someone cared enough to give you a gift. If it was something you bought and you never wore, there's no need to feel bad about it, because you're letting it, thank you for teaching me that I don't really wear this type of thing that I bought, and thank you for being pretty in the store, and you let it go on to its new life. And its job is to make someone else happy at that point. You can donate it, give it away, resell it, whatever you want to do, but it needs to be with someone who's going to love it and take care of it and actually enjoy it and wear it. So that's the process, is you go through, put everything you own in the pile, all of your clothes, you figure out what brings you joy, what you want to keep, and then you thank everything else for its service, and you figure out where it should move on to. So I'm excited to share with you that I did finish the clothing decluttering in about 6 hours. I had everything separated, and everything that I was keeping back organized in my closet and folded beautifully in my drawers and shelves. And I'm in the process of figuring out what to do with the rest of the stuff. So I'm not quite finished. Some of it's going to go to be sold, some of it's going to go to be donated, some of it's going to some friends, but it feels great. When I look in my closets now and in my drawers and on the shelves, it feels so good to be only seeing things that truly give me joy. And then I actually was able to also go through my jewelry and do the same thing. And then I went through my books. And then today I started going through my papers. So I'm in this big sort of house organizing thing lately, and it feels good. It's challenging, I'm not gonna lie. It takes time, it takes consideration, it takes energy. It can be tough when some of the things feel emotional. It can be fun and exciting. It can be draining a little bit, making these decisions. But I think in the end, it's worth it when you look at your space and you see all these things that make you really happy. And how this can relate to food, eating, and health. One is that when I work with private clients, I've actually had clients who seem just stopped in their ability to care for themselves. And it wasn't until we talked this through and all of a sudden they felt called to organize their house and their space around them. And then when all of a sudden their space in their home was clean and clutter-free, they were able to take on the healthy eating and caring for themselves in the way of feeding themselves the foods that they needed to be healthy. And so that gave them a freedom. It was like a block that they couldn't quite see the self-care while they were surrounded by clutter. And you can imagine that a cluttered home, a cluttered environment, a cluttered schedule, a cluttered kitchen, it could be really hard to focus your efforts and energy on shopping and planning and cooking your healthy meals and preparing for the week, food-wise, if you're so overwhelmed by your space and your clothes and, just surrounded by things that don't make you happy and things that stress you out. So starting with your home, your environment, your schedule, trying to declutter, whether it's reading Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, or doing it your own way, consider taking on decluttering your schedule, your life, your house, and especially your kitchen. Imagine walking into your kitchen and having your cabinets decluttered and just the foods that you love that are nourishing to your body and healthy, they're right up front and center and organized, and your spices organized so it's easy to cook delicious foods, and your refrigerator organized so you can find the fruits and vegetables and the things you need to nourish your body and to make a healthy dinner for everyone. And your refrigerator, freezer organized with stuff that is there for emergencies when maybe you hadn't been to the store, or when you get home from the store, you have plenty of room to put everything away. It might feel really good, and it might inspire you to meal prep, to plan for the week, and to take the best possible care of yourself. And that's our goal. So comment below or write me and let me know what your plans are to maybe declutter, taking the best possible care of yourself for this week and next week and the next few months. Happy fall cleaning. Bye.